Welcome back to another episode of Trigger Warning. I'm TT.
I'm Kim Osorio.
How was your weekend?
It was. Look, let's not act like we weren't just here having a conversation about getting pregnant.
Oh my gosh, I'm over that stage.
The weekend was good, but are you over it?
Oh, I'm so over it.
No more babies?
No more babies.
How
I
many
only
do you have
wanted
again?
one, and just a boy.
Just a boy, and you got your boy.
I got my boy.
And we have graduation coming up.
No,
You
I
had
had
your graduation.
It was like, that's why I'm so tired. It was like a week of festivities, and I have another event tonight. So it was graduation mass, then it was the 8th grade dance, then it was the graduation, and then it's the boat ride around Manhattan.
Oh, that's nice. I
the
love
finale.
it. I love it.
So I'm just like, I'm done. I'm glad I only like have to go through this one time. And it's literally like just 8th grade.
This is my third time. So my son, we're doing all that stuff next week. He's graduating from 8th grade. But he's the third. He's the boy, right? I have
only
two
boy.
girls. Yeah, he's the only boy. If you ask my daughters, they'll be like, that's her favorite. That's not true.
Boys are their mommy's favorites.
They are, though.
Yeah.
But they're different. They're nice. They're sweet.
But the thing about boys is it's a different type of relationship with their mom.
Their mom, yeah.
It's like boys love their moms.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I feel like girls do too, but it's just a different dynamic.
It's different. Also, girls are very independent. So, like, I never had to teach my daughters to turn the stove on. Right?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Last year, I had to teach my son how to turn on the stove. You are 13 years old. If you don't figure this out, he was like, huh? Like,
I don't even want my son turning on the stove.
But that's what I'm saying. He did not know. And and the girls were just clowning him. They were like, we learned how to cook when we were like 10 years old. And they did.
Yeah.
YouTube, whatever it was. But the boys is
Huh?
That's it.
And they forget so easily. So they'll turn the stove on, put the food on the stove, and then forget it's there because they're back to the game or whatever they're doing.
Right.
Next thing you know, the smoke alarm is going off because they didn't go back to the uncooked food. Now that's overcooked.
When you're on your third kid, you get to the point where you anticipate things before they happen because you've been through it, right? So, like, I think my daughter put aluminum foil, my oldest, in the microwave before, right? So, like, before my second and third even got to using the microwave, I was like, you never put aluminum foil in here, right?
Yeah.
You have to, like, register, like, the mistakes that have happened with your first kid.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to your third, it's just like, don't do this, don't do that. Like, I feel bad. I'm always telling my son, like,
does the middle child feel slighted?
They say that.
Yeah.
But my middle child is probably, I hate saying this, but she's probably the most independent of all three of them.
Wow.
So we'll see. The jury's still out. She's in the 11th grade. So she's trying to figure out what she's doing for college.
You have a nice little gap.
Yeah. But I said I could have another one.
I don't know why.
Only reason why I wouldn't have another baby is because I'm not getting that fat again. Like, I gain weight when I'm pregnant. I got to work on losing it. But I could do another baby.
I gained 80 pounds with my son.
So just so y'all know, I could do another baby. No, I don't know. I like that stage of when they're small and cute. But I'm happy now that I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I could.
You got something you want to tell me?
No. I could, but I'm not. Because it was, what's the actress's name that was pregnant at 54?
I know Janet Jackson was pregnant over 50, and somebody else recently came out.
A lot of women. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
I don't want to do that. I want to travel. I want to get this kid out the house, off to college, and I want to live my life. But that's always been my ideal goals, right? Mm-hmm. So there are women who don't have these type of goals, but I was always a one and done type of girl.
That was it.
That was it. One and done. I love my nieces and nephews. I have a lot of them. I come from a family of 8. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so, he has plenty of cousins.
Yeah. You didn't need me to pop another one out.
Right.
You got enough to work with. Yeah.
Exactly. Speaking of divorces, Genie Ma and Jeezy is getting a divorce. You saw something triggering online.
I did.
That you wanted to talk about today.
I did, because people were going in on her when she put out a comment on Cassie's apology, right? So Genie Ma puts a comment, and she's like, Cassie, you're a voice of whatever it is that she said. I don't know the exact quote, but it was in support of Cassie, right? But the internet went in on her because of the allegations she has against Jeezy. And one of the most interesting comments I saw was someone said, y'all tread lightly because you didn't believe Cassie either, right? So I think that there's this, you know, constant debate of like, okay, it's her word against his word. But when it comes to these accusations, do we turn a blind eye or side with the celebrity when we feel like we know that person, right? This is a little bit of the conversation that we had before. People, and I know you have a different perspective on this, right? Like, people don't believe Jeezy, and I don't know what to believe. I don't know a lot about their relationship. People don't believe he put hands on her.
Well, you know, because I don't feel like he really knew this lady before he married her. And I think his situation and Puff's situation.
That this lady is crazy, TT.
No, I'm not going there, but I'm saying it's relatively different than Puff's. Let me just say why. Because Puff, there's kind of always been this rumor about him, right? And a lot of folks turned a blind eye. Jeezy, on the other hand, has always had the rumor of being a stand-up guy, a real G. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that this cannot be in his character, because we don't know a person when they're behind closed doors, right? But I kind of look at this through a different lens. It's like, I feel like Jeezy was a little hoodwinked when it came to this relationship. I feel like he got into this relationship thinking it was one thing, but in reality it turned out to be another. And then he was like, holy shit, I didn't sign up for this. So now I'm bowing out. Because it's unfixable, because this is not the person I really signed up for. I feel like she kind of catfished him a little bit. And I feel like because at the time they got married, you know, she was all on her talk show talking about the dark meat and this and that.
I remember that.
And then when they got together, he kind of gave her a little bit of clout. And he gave her some coolness when her career was on a downcline and the show was on a downcline. I feel like Jeezy gave her a little bit of like swag she never had before. And then, you know, him being a real G, he ain't really with the cameras and the stories about their life leaking all over the internet and, you know, Hollywood news and this person got the inside scoop on their relationship. I don't feel like that is Jeezy's character at all. Like, he's such a real G that he keep his life. He's a rapper when he goes out and be a rapper. He's a businessman when he goes out and does his business. He's a private man when it comes to his family, his relationships. If you notice, Jeezy's personal life outside of like BMF and that time has always kind of remained private. Like, remember, like, we never really knew he dated anyone or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the thing is, I don't have a lot of investment in their relationship, right? Like, I don't know Jeezy. I don't even think I ever met him.
He's such a nice guy.
Right, but you have met him.
I have met him. I have interviewed with him. I have been in many rooms with him. But again, I also have been in many rooms with Puff.
That's my question to you, because it's tough now in light of what has happened with Puff, right? Do you, when you see these accusations, because to me, I'm just looking at it, it's like, I don't know the truth, right? It's her word against his. It's Cassie's word against Puff until we see a video, right? But I look at it like, immediately as an audience, when a woman accuses a man, a celebrity, of domestic violence, I feel like people automatically write that person off like she's lying. And that's, you know, with the Jeezy and Genie Ma thing, that's how I looked at it. I'm like, well, damn, I didn't even really research it enough. I didn't look into it enough. But I was like, well, damn, the internet just shut her down. Even in when you said we don't know this lady, right? I thought it was funny because I think hip hop looks at her like an outsider. Like, she's not part of this community.
Well, she never was.
And we protect who is.
Well, okay.
We protect our own. We protect who is. So when you call to this lady, I laugh, because that's how we treat people who aren't in the community. Like, I don't know this lady. You know, and when he married, you said when he got with this lady, right? And it's true. That's how we feel. We look at Jeezy as being from within our culture, right? So we want to protect him. And that's how I feel like you know, with Diddy and Cassie, I'm not saying because she was obviously a part of the culture, right? She's always been around. But because Diddy was such a representation of hip hop and had such a legacy, we were very protective initially of him. And then we saw the video and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe how horrible he is. And now everybody's on, and with a microphone in front of them talking about how horrible he was to her. So I wonder about the Jeezy and Genie Ma thing, just because I feel like people don't like her. She's an outsider, people don't like her. So immediately they just dismiss whatever she said. And that's hard for a woman if she did go through that. And if he did put hands on her. And if she, because I always say this, it takes a lot for a woman to come out and say this happened to me, because it's humiliating. And she does have a public image and a public profile, right? It is humiliating to make those accusations and have to be that person. So I kind of look at it like from a different lens, like, well, would she really say that? If he didn't put his hand, would she really go there knowing that you're going to jump in that lion's den and people are going to eat you up for making those accusations
Why
against
put yourself
him?
out there if it's not true?
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And maybe that, and I'm not saying I believe every woman that makes an accusation, but whenever I come into a situation and I read it, I look at it and I'm like, well, why would she say that?
Yeah.
Like, if I don't see a
Listen,
clear
I'm not
motive,
dismissing her at all.
Right.
Let me be clear. I'm not dismissing her
Right.
at all. I think that every woman should be taken seriously.
The accusations, right?
Absolutely. Because you never know who someone is behind closed doors. So one of the big headlines that came out too was The Dream is now being lumped into this sexual assault category as well, because his protege, former artist who says that she moved to LA to work with him and to have this big career, and he promised her all of these things, but what she got was abuse.
Yes.
And in that document was really disturbing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, now here's somebody who's worked with Beyonce.
Right.
Who's worked with some of the biggest names in the culture, and who happens to be one of my favorite artists.
Right.
To read that was so disappointing for me, because anybody that knows me knows that I love The Dream. And I love his writing, producing. He's just dope 360 around. But I wonder if Beyonce, being the type of figure that she is and how much she stands on business when it comes to women, would she separate herself from him as a bold statement of, I do not condone this behavior? Right.
So here's the question. So you believe the allegations against The Dream?
When I read it, it's hard not to believe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to believe.
So it was based on like what you read.
Right.
That's interesting, coming off of Genie Ma. I keep saying her, this coming off this lady. Coming off this lady and going to, do you know the name of the girl who made the accusations?
I think the difference between Genie and Jeezy for me is that the story has been flipped so many times, and I just feel like it's all over the place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So there's too many.
It's too many inconsistencies for me.
Yeah, it's a lot going on in their situation.
Right? So it becomes, when I look at it in its entirety, it's like, oh, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that, now you did this, now you did that. It's like, yo, I want to see the full spectrum, because I feel like that situation is such a publicity-driven divorce that we're missing the real and the consistency.
Right.
Does that make sense to everybody in the room of what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I feel like it's too much people in their business before it even makes it to court. Like, how does TMZ or, People Magazine know that this is about to happen before it happens, before it actually makes it to the court? Somebody is leaking this information.
Because the court of public opinion really
shifts
for them. It shifts, but it's for a couple like Jeezy and Genie Ma, this lady, the court of public opinion is almost more important than what happens in court, because their careers and their bottom line is dependent on their public image.
So in the documents, he is being accused of rape, sex trafficking, and assault. That is what is in the documents that she is accusing him of.
Okay.
Again, you know, women should be taken serious when these allegations are being made. And I'm just curious to see how this is going to play out, because he's so involved in these super mega stars.
Right. Well, we were just talking about press strategy, right? And I think, again, when these allegations come out, it really hinges to me on public perception, right? So I'm sure there's a strategy in even putting these allegations out, right? Like, I'm not sure where they came out at first, if it was a TMZ thing or how people found out.
She said she did she had a quote in the New York Times.
Right.
You know, and I feel like the New York Times picked that up because they know that he is tied to Beyonce.
Of course, but usually when you're filing a case of that magnitude, your legal team will have a PR arm, and they'll be like, we're going to do this. We're going to file this on this day, and on that day, we're going to put you in front of CNN or whatever. It's always a part of the case. It's a strategy that attorneys use to shape public opinion, right? So, like, even them, and I don't know. I have to do more deep dive into that Dream case. Like, I know the allegations sound horrible. I don't know him. I've never met him. I don't know his character. I don't know anything about her either. So I think I got to do my due diligence. It's just that it's also, if I'm an attorney, it's a good time right now. If I've been talking to you about your situation and you've been thinking about filing a case against this person, and in light of everything that we're seeing right now, if you notice, it's almost like the Me Too, the second wave or third wave of Me Too with these allegations.
But that's why I'm saying, like, you know,
because everybody's like,
what's the lesson in all of this? Like, what's the lesson in all of this? When we see our icons, you know, or people that have contributed so much to the culture, what's the lesson in all of this? What's the biggest lesson we can learn? The Dream, Puff, you know, Jeezy. What is the lesson?
I think for me, right, I look at, the lesson for them is that when you get to a certain level of success, right, and money and power, you have a big responsibility to conduct yourself, not just, you know, don't go out there and do these things and abide by the law. No, like, you need to understand that you have so much influence over your audience, over the community, that you have a responsibility to act accordingly and to act actually like a leader, because you can change the course of, like, people and how the public responds to things. You know what I'm saying?
Mine is very simple. Mine is very simple. What you do in the dark will always come to light. And one day you will face the man in the mirror. So whatever demons that you're running from that will cause such horrific behavior, change them.
Right.
Get the help you need to change them. That's very simple. It's a hard thing to do, but it's a very simple step.
It is, but it's also something that I believe all of us need to do, right? We all need to do that. We all have that pressure every day. But I feel like a certain level of celebrity, you need to understand your responsibility. I think you have a responsibility. And,
well, you have to have the responsibility for yourself first.
For yourself first, but...
Like, I just think at this point, you can't give a... Like, you shouldn't give a fuck about what the public sees you as.
Oh, well, that's their whole business. You can't say that.
But
that's
no,
their whole business.
But your whole business is going to be ruined if you don't face the person in the mirror. The person that you need to please and to fix is yourself.
Right.
Your family. Mm-hmm. Who gives a fuck about what Booby Scooby writes on Instagram? I don't give a fuck about that person. That person contributes shit to my life.
I feel like a lot of these bigger celebs who have made all of this money, they really, they're really out there living for that. Like, they're in a different...
Because they're lost. They're lost.
They are lost.
There are a lot of people living for the gram, living for the likes.
If you can't... Like, you ever notice, like, there's some people online that just can't... They have to comment on everything. They have to say something on everything. It's like, I need to be heard. Like,
come on, you in TV, Kim.
But that's what I'm saying.
But you're in TV, and you're in reality TV. You produce a lot of shows. You know that a lot of people live for that dopamine.
Yes,
fix.
but I'm saying, but it's a part of your bottom line. It becomes a part of your business. If you don't do it, you lose it almost. So a lot of people are grasping that. And it's like, even speaking about this, right? Like the comments that 50 Cent was saying about the Michael Rainey situation, right? And a lot of people were in the comments saying, why is he talking about it? He should let Michael Rainey speak about it, right?
He did.
Obviously,
he did.
I know he did, but in a way, I don't want to say he contradicted what he said.
Who?
Right?
50?
50, right. Because he said on the post, after Michael Rainey put a statement out.
Michael Rainey Jr. was on a live stream.
Right.
With a streamer, a popular streamer. I can't remember.
Talil.
Okay.
And look, I'm not in the Casanat group of streaming and watching these kids. Well, they're all a crew, right?
But Kim, you out of that age bracket, child. You ain't sitting on nobody damn straight for 20 hours.
But did you know who Talil was?
No, but I'm not also my son's age. He probably know who he is.
But there are streamers that we know, right? So this situation, believe it or not, I believe is gonna make that streamer more popular.
Or somebody has to step in and really educate them on where the line in the sand is drawn, because that streamer did come out and say what happened was wrong because he had to. He had to. He didn't realize at first, like, that is not a good thing to do.
It got too big.
So let me just recap what happened.
Okay.
So Michael Rainey Jr. was on his live stream. His sister comes up to him, grabs his private parts on the live stream, and you see him laughing and kind of moving her hand away from his private area.
Right.
And then 50 obviously,
Well, that happens, right, on the live stream. Everyone sees it. Everyone starts reporting about it. And then Michael Rainey puts out a statement in his story, right? And he's, because I think for him, he probably has a team of people. They have a big show out. It's right now, this is like, I hate to say it, but big promotion for their show. They just dropped, right? Because it's like, make something happen is almost like what I know a lot of people do when they're trying to promote something. I'm not saying that they set that up. I'm not saying that, but maybe I am. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Like, that was a crazy situation that he was in. He's on a live stream. The sister of the streamer grabs his crotch area. He's like so uncomfortable. He's like laughing, and he's, he doesn't really say anything to her. And then one of the other streamers comes and like, oh, yo, y'all didn't see? And then it blows up online. And then he puts out a statement, and in the statement, he is responsible in how he's responding to it, right? So he's talking, I forgot exactly what the statement was, but he's like, this isn't right, sexual assault isn't right, because, and we're looking at it. Whatever it is that he said, to me, I felt like it was a responsible statement from a young actor of his caliber.
You're talking about
Michael Rainey Jr. To understand, after seeing how it went viral, just what his responsibility was to speak on the matter. That's my point, right? Michael Rainey Jr. made a responsible statement after that, because he saw how it traveled, and it's embarrassing. 50 then put out after it he said something on his post like, I always took it as flattery. I didn't know we not pressing no charges, right?
But yeah, before that, he said that, you know, he said the flattering thing, and then he
said it was flattering. Now, he's like, I never looked at anything like this. This is flattering to me.
And then Vibe came out and said
an article
that it's no laughing matter.
It's not. They have a point, and that's the thing. Like, you know, I know we joking and everything online, you know, social media, but we just went through, like, you know, all of these cases that are out there right now where women were sexually assaulted by men. So in light of that, even in the times, because timing is everything, this happens to a guy. We need to look at that the same way. Like, that's a violation. This is wrong. This is why it's wrong. Because to me, people are not understanding what's wrong with what's going on. You get out of everybody's private space. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a violation. But I think for men, right? I had this conversation with a young man yesterday, and he said, for men to be able to say something and to speak out against it is a question of their masculinity. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a very smart statement from this kid, because I was like, not being a man, I can't look at it like that, right? So for some, and you don't get more masculine than 50 Cent, right? So, like, of course, here comes, like, the uber masculine dude coming down, like, nah, we good, you know, it's all good, like, this is flattering to us. No, it's not, because people need to understand what the act of sexual assault is, right? So his and
you can't go hard on Puff and then laugh something like this off.
It's you don't want to put your team, you know, or anybody that works under you in situations, right, where this could happen. And really, that's a question of where he was, right? Like, because, he laughed it off or whatever.
And he said it was flattering because as an artist, I guess he's used to women grabbing on
groping
him and stuff
like
that.
That's part of his image, right? Like the
stage
sexy,
performance,
oiled down, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But this situation was not that.
No, he's just standing there.
He's standing there. He didn't ask for that. He didn't, you know, invite that. He was just there.
He was just standing there
as a guest to be on a person's show.
Right.
And had that been a female, the holy grail.
Right. Now, I looked at this just having, you know, worked with a lot of artists in the, you know, media consulting lane. And I said, this is a press no. First of all, why is he in the room with all these people? Like, are they all part of the live stream? There's kids in there. I'm like, this is crazy. Who put him in that room? But stars, whoever your PR person is, somebody needs to be getting in trouble or reprimanded, because why was he in that situation? He's Michael Rainey, standing up against a wall. It looked hot as hell in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's kids around. Somebody's sister's coming up to me, grabbing my package. Like, that shit look crazy to me.
Yeah.
From a PR standpoint. Right? So then that happens, it goes viral. Now, that's why I said you never really know what these things is. People be setting shit up, but not saying they set that up. I'm just saying the whole situation to me looked nuts.
Yeah.
It looked nuts. He's on, did you see him standing up on the side of the wall?
Yeah.
He's Michael Rainey Jr. They just dropped a huge show. It's like the last season, whatever. He's standing on the wall like Cramp, and this girl is up on him like it looked crazy. And
like, why is he there in the first place?
Right, and that, like, is he doing the stream? Is he supposed to be on the stream? Like, are you about to call him up? What's going on? But then that happens, and then the response is like, we good over here. It's flattery. Like,
no.
It just looked mad ghetto in there to me.
And then it's like,
I mean, I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying with these streamers. They are so young, and I don't want to say naive, but it's like they don't really have media training. You know,
None.
They just go on their lives, they built their audience, and they don't know maybe sometimes what's breaking the law or not.
Right, and then they don't understand the responsibility that they have. If you have, like, how many followers? Like, I read
Millions.
That he had 130,000 on that.
Oh, on that particular live,
right?
Okay.
So, like, that's a lot of people that you're broadcasting to and saying things, and they're young and they're getting all this attention. I think in his statement he made a comment that said, "Sorry if my first day on set." I think in that statement, the streamer says something like, my sister had never seen a artist or a star of that magnitude. Mm-hmm. So it was almost like, not making an excuse for his sister, but like, you know, I don't condone that. He had to say something. Someone was wise enough to be like, you need to put out a statement.
Yeah.
Right? And then his statement being like, that's the first time she's been in a situation
with a
big
if my son was in a space like that and a woman did that to him, or any female did that to him, and I was watching that stream, I'm not going to hold you, I would put hands on her. Like, I would seriously put fucking hands on her. Like, don't touch my child like that. Right. Like, even though he's a grown man.
Right.
But if that was like my son and I'm watching that,
I know.
I would put hands on her.
But that's why I say for us, we looking at it.
Or if it was my little brother, I would probably put hands on her.
That's
and he's grown.
Violation. Like, you violated him.
And I know some men that wouldn't be with that. Like, I do know men that would not be with that. Like, yo, don't touch me. Like, why are you touching me?
I know
like,
a lot of men that would be like, don't do that. Like, because it's crazy. It was more than just, was crazy. It was more than just sexual assault. It was also very crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Was you drunk, high? What's going on here?
That's why I said it looked mad ghetto to me, because I'm like, what's happening in this room where you have these people in there that are like, you know, dropping big shows, you know, and I don't even know where they do this streaming at, but it was a whole bunch of people in there.
Did you watch the episode?
I did.
Did you like it?
I was all right. I'm a fan of that series. I like Raising Kanan the best.
I like that series a lot.
Power? The Ghost series? Yeah, I like it too, but I thought that the first episode was a little weak. But we'll see next week. It was all
over the place for me.
Yeah, it was a little weak. I was like, well, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah.
Have you been paying attention to Bia and Cardi B? Did you listen to that record Bia put out?
I've only heard a little clip because, you know, if it ain't really good, I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. You got about 10 seconds for me when I'm scrolling. So from what I listened to, I mean, here's the thing. Bia gotta do that because she's not in Cardi's position, right? Mm-hmm. Bia has to do that. And I pay attention to it. I'm like, okay, you know, whatever little beef they got, she's going at her. Cardi don't gotta give her as much attention because you're Cardi B. And she made me laugh though in one of her live streams because in one of her lives, because she was like, you know, I'm gonna give this to you, right? So you're so upset at whatever is happening between y'all that you are giving her so much light. Because if Cardi don't talk about it, nobody cares.
Right.
If Bia just drops a record, I don't care. But it's Cardi talking about it that people is care putting the light on it. And so it's almost like whatever Bia is saying is cutting into you because you're responding, and you don't have to respond. You're Cardi B.
You know, I honestly think that Cardi B is a global superstar.
That's what I'm saying.
Bigger than any of the rap girls out. And I don't care.
Arguable, right?
If she has one album. It's not arguable.
You think she's the biggest
female
rapper?
She is the biggest. When it comes to her diversity and global impact. What I think a lot of these girls are, and I hate to say this, is I think that they're really just, it boils down to jealousy. What is the reason? And I know Bia, and I know Cardi, and I like them both. You know what I mean? And I have a relationship with both of those young ladies. And Bia is actually born on my birthday, Leo gang, twin sister. But honestly, for you to go in the studio to make a record about someone, what is the reasoning other than jealousy?
Rap. That's rap. But
what is the reason of beefing with Cardi?
I want your spot. I'm coming for your spot. I gotta do this. You're the top dog, and I gotta take you down. That's the formula that guys do.
I just think it's just so unnecessary, and it's not good. And I don't know who. I don't know if it was on one of these men podcasts that said Bia is a better rapper. Like, that record was horrible. I did not think that this record was good.
I didn't listen to the whole thing, so clearly I didn't think it was that good either.
I did not think that this record was good.
She's going at
But
Cardi.
I think Bia is a good rapper.
Right.
But this record was not good. It wasn't.
So, and I didn't hear the whole thing. So you're saying that you feel like her motivation for doing it was out of jealousy? Is that?
I just feel like it was out of jealousy. I feel
I don't know either of them, so I don't know what the reason was. But I know if you play in this rap game, you gotta do it.
I think a lot of these girls come into the game and they look at Cardi's success and they can't understand it. They can't understand it, and you know why? Because they're like, well, she only has one album. You know, she didn't put out a second album. Blah 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 blah. Like, oh, she's this, she's that. But the thing about her, Cardi B, is that she's not manufactured when it comes to her stardom.
She's very authentic.
She's just a star.
But you know,
but sometimes people got to understand that sometimes people are just born that way. I mean, she has
star quality.
She has this thing of this authenticity about her that's relatable to the everyday girl.
And I agree with that. I think for the artists who are making those comments like, oh, she only got one album, whatever, they're not understanding that for her, it's like the total package, right? So, yeah, she only has one album. That's her album, and she's working on other music. But it's really her character that we buy into, right? I mean, the music is good, but it's her character.
It's her. She's a brand. Yeah, it's not her.
That we like sitting with her album, you know, all day.
I mean, Invasion and Privacy was an incredible album. It was a great album for someone's first album.
It was a good album.
It was a great album, Kim.
But
it was
I'm a different type of hip-hop listener. So for me, I appreciated it, right? And I saw the way she moved the culture with it. So I respect it. It wasn't made for me. I wasn't jamming it. It wasn't made for me. It just wasn't. I'm a different era. So, but what she did, I think, was groundbreaking, right? And I think it was a solid album. She had hit records. It was the formula for success. It was like, this girl is a star, right? We're going to take her and we're going to arm her with everything that we know she needs for this album to be multi-platinum and go, right? That's how I see it from just a music journalist standpoint, right? So a lot of the girls who I think are like sitting there writing, doing music, there is that jealousy factor because they're like, wait, maybe they think they're better than her. Maybe they are better than her. Depends on the standards, what the qualifications are. But this 2024, this time, it's not for the best musicians and the best artists. It's just not. It's for the personality. And people buy into the personality of an artist. So the brand, the packaging, you know, I think maybe you have breakthrough people who are like very artistic in their music and creative, but I feel like that's a different form. Let me say this. One of the things I do love about Cardi, and I love that Cardi, Megan, Glorilla clique.
And Lotto.
I love that little clique. That they go around and make videos. I love that. I think it's like on some girl power shit. Like, I love what they're doing. But they are, those three, very authentic to who they are, right?
But can I say something while this is on my mind? I don't want to cut you off. But the reason why I said I felt like Bia's motivation for Cardi was jealousy because of what she said about her tattoos and saying, me and my girls talk about you in the group chat. So that makes me think, I don't know who her girls are, but it's like when bitches spend so much time yapping about you.
Yeah.
What you really yapping about me for? Other than the fact that you're just mad that my life is this and yours is not. So why not work as hard as me to create the life that you're talking about in your motherfucking group chat? That's what made me feel like there's some jealousy there. And I never thought Bia to be that girl because she's never exhibited that before. Right. And I've interviewed her. She and I have each other's numbers. Like, she's never struck me as that type of girl who would sit and talk about another bitch in a group chat. Okay. Like, that's like, because she's like always,
but that's like, some shit, but that's some shit girls do, and they young, so they got time. But I want to say this about that.
But to the point, you talking about my tattoos and what I'm wearing, and I look dirty. Like, what? Like, why do you care if you don't care about me?
No, you know what makes their beef interesting? And I think that this is where, you know, the audience gets sucked in, is whatever their real history was with each other. There was interaction there, right? So people want to know what really happened between them. And again, it goes back to my point about Cardi being at the level that she is and actually giving it so much attention, because it feels like something happened between them. And I know there's like, you know, Bia was, but when she was making accusations that Cardi was cheating on Offset, right? Like that was the big thing.
Knowing Cardi, she's just that type of girl. Like, she gonna stand on business. She's just that. She's real like that.
Right. So,
you know what I'm saying?
When Bia made the accusation, right, and again, I'm not justifying like anybody speaking on anyone else's relationship, especially when you putting out accusations there that I'm doing something, you know, that's my business. If I am or if I'm not, you making it up. Whatever the intention was, right? She said something that people believed. Because if they didn't believe it, it wouldn't have like gotten so far, right? Like Cardi wouldn't be responding if it was like some accusation that it was like, but she responded to it. And I think her responding to it and giving it so much life is what made people kind of raise their eyebrows like, well, how's she know that? Where'd she get this from? So whatever the interaction was in the beginning, kind of like the history, right, of why they got to where they got, that's what people want to know. So it's more than just, hey, I'm jealous of you, or I'm going for the top spot. There's something there.
I think Cardi explained it in her live. I think she explained it in her live when she basically said, you know, the subbing happened and she picked up the phone and I guess the managers got them on the phone and she told that girl, you know, you don't inspire me, like whatever. And she just kept it real with her. And I'm only getting this from Cardi going on her live and, you know,
saying what she said.
Explaining what she said. The reason why I think this is all stemming from is pure jealousy.
Okay. You probably know more about it than me. I saw Scarlipp's new video. Did you see it?
No.
She put out a new video. And she was shaking her ass on the video. And I was kind of like in shock, like, and I was thinking, almost like, is this satirical? Like, because that's not her image. Who's telling her you have to do this, or is this really who she is? It confused me as someone who consumes content and information from what I have seen. Well, I remember when she first came out, what everyone bought into was this sort of image of a female DMX, someone who was, you know, had a lot of pain that they were expressing, and that's what caught on, right? And that's what I think people are invested in from her as an artist. And when I saw the video and I saw the ass shaking, I was like, I just thought it was bad imaging for her. Because
do you think maybe she felt the pressure of
I wonder, right? A lot of people were in her comments like, this ain't you, don't do it. I don't know. Like, I'm like, as a woman, as a female artist, you feel like you need to do that to be successful.
Maybe she's feeling some type of pressure to have to keep up with all the girls that are shaking their asses.
But there's too many shaking their asses. And what made you special was the fact that you weren't. And that you had this
maybe
pain
she doesn't
you were
have no
about.
Guidance. Maybe she's still trying to.
Somebody ain't telling her. I was looking at that. I said, this is a bad business decision. Like, you shaking your ass like this.
But also, let me just say this: she's still a young girl that's trying to find herself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe she's in a journey of finding who she is. Maybe that's how she really felt in that moment.
I looked at it and I was like, ain't no older women around in the organization next. Cause
she do got older women around.
Do she?
Yeah, her manager is Mona.
Is Mona still managing her?
No. Her manager is an older woman. It's Mona. Well, she started with Mona unless she's not with Mona no more.
Maybe she's not with Mona and...
But I always thought, honestly, I've known that girl from the very beginning stages of her career. She used to come to the radio station and play me music. She's always had a diverse portfolio of music. I always thought that whoever was managing her early on and at that time, did not know what to do with her and kind of put her in a box of,
right. But that's what so many women, you know what I mean? Like women can be so many things.
And right, but artists, I felt like she was being lumped into old New York rappers.
Right.
And she was so young.
The female DMX.
Right. But I kind of felt like it was unfair for her because her music was much more than that. I had heard so much more content and music from her.
Was it booty shaking content?
It was a bunch. It was an array of things. It was emo. It was.
I don't know that I'm looking for booty shaking content from Scarlett. I'm just going to say, I don't know that that's what I want from her. And listen, I'm not the audience, so maybe.
Because you heard This Is New York and you heard all those.
But actually, I saw her very early with her Instagram videos and she was talking about her pain. And I think that, you know, there are special artists that have come through. Right. And when you come with that's that DMX quality. Right? It was the pain that we connected to with X. Right? So I think she had that very early on and that's what took her. Like people was like, oh my God, this girl's story, you know, I want to know more.
She has an incredible story.
Right.
Like she grew up in the foster care system. She was sexually assaulted.
It's a lot with her.
She had a lot. It was very heavy. I actually did an interview with her. You can check it out on my YouTube page. Okay. It was very heavy. Go ahead. Yeah, shameless plug.
YouTube.com.
Type my name in, Titi Torres. But she does have a story to tell. And I think, you know, when you're that talented and you have a gift, you are supposed to share it with the world.
Sorry, I don't know why my watch is interrupting you. Yes, and I just feel like to see her in that video, I felt like it was a step backwards, you know what I mean? Because, you know, they are kind of telling her story and she's a new artist and she's got a lot of eyes watching her. And I just think for younger new artists, especially women, you have to be careful with the image that you put out there.
Well, maybe she needs to step on over to the TT and Kim management company.
Listen, come on here, baby. Come on here. We're going to get you right.
Does she need to step on over here to our management company?
No, but you know, like I really, when I first saw her, you know, and I do think that they put her out there a lot, right? Because she picked up steam like, right?
But I don't think
they put her out there. They just started.
But I don't know if I would say she picked up steam a lot.
I just felt like is this like the filter that when you reach a certain level, like there's some evil men up there and they're like, okay, you're at this level now, let's go, and now let's sexualize you. Like, what the hell? This Scarlett. I don't know. I was like, this is weird to me.
Interesting.
This is very weird to me.
I don't know. I just kind of
I'm not saying she can't look sexy.
Yeah.
That was, to me, that was a lot. Like,
but maybe because she's so young that she is finding herself.
Okay.
And maybe she needs women in her corner that could kind of navigate her through that process of finding yourself in this culture that is so overly sexualized. It's
just too overly sexualized.
And that is too, that, you know, will try to exploit you at every angle.
Right.
My hope for her is that she has women in her corner to guide her.
Right.
I think the reason why I connect a lot with a lot of the female rappers in the game is because I am a voice for them that they can go to and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, you know, they're saying this, like, you know, and then I'll be able to say, nah, like, you should maybe try this, or here's a contact for that person. I hope with all that she's been through, that she has that person in her corner so that they're guiding her even when she wants to explore something left.
And now I think it's a little too early. If you were going that route, right? I think it's too early for that. I think you still need to establish your core fan base, right?
Now, that's a good point. Yes.
And you need to talk to the people who, the audience that really kind of
because it is a process.
Right.
I think a lot of people forget there is a process. Even when you look at Cardi B, she didn't go from, you know, wearing Chanel overnight. She went to Fashion Nova. She went to this, she went to that. There was a process, and there is a process, because you don't want to go so quickly that you haven't established an underbelly.
Right.
All right, so listen, Kim, this is our second episode.
I know.
And
I enjoy you.
I know, I enjoy it.
I love women.
So by the time we tape next week, your son will be a graduate?
Yes. Wait. Wait.
Yes, by the time we take next week, your son will be a graduate.
He will be an 8th grade graduate.
Congratulations to him.
Thank you. Congratulations to your son.
Thank you. And shout out to all the moms whose kids are graduating. You guys are the real... The fact that we can still
do this, juggling the kids.
You guys are the real MVPs.
Yeah.
All right, so we out until the next episode. Make sure you guys keep up with us on YouTube. I'm TT Torres.
Kim Osorio Media on YouTube.
Yes, and also on our socials as well.
Yes, Kim Osorio 1.
And TT Torres, okay? All right, it's a wrap. Trigger warning.